Where is the oil of a dry sump reciprocating engine oil exposed to the temperature control valve sensing unit? Oil cooler inlet. The purpose of a dwell chamber in a turbine engine oil tank is to provide separation of entrained air from scavenged oil. An oil tank having a capacity of 5 gallons must have an expansion space of 2 quarts. How are the piston pins of most aircraft engines lubricated? By oil which is sprayed or thrown by the master or connecting rods. What is the purpose of the last chance oil filters? To filter oil immediately before it enters the main bearing. Which of the following is a function of the fuel oil heat exchanger on a turbine engine? Increases fuel temperature. Lubrication oils with high velocity index ratings are oils in which the velocity does not vary much with temperature change. Why is an aircraft reciprocating engine oil tank on a dry sump lubrication system equipped with a vent line? To prevent pressure buildup in the oil tank. Which of the following bearing types must be continuously lubricated by oil pressure? Plain. What will be the result of operating an engine in extremely high temperatures using a lubricant recommended by the manufacturer for a much lower temperature? The oil pressure will be lower than normal. According to federal aviation regulations, oil tank filters on turbine engines must be marked with the word oil. The viscosity of a liquid is a measure of its resistance to flow. If all other requirements can be met, what type of oil should be used to achieve theoretically perfect engine lubrication? the thinnest oil that will stay in place and maintain a reasonable film strength. Specific gravity is a comparison of Specific gravity is a comparison of the weight of the substance to the weight of equal volumes of distilled water at a specific temperature. Excessive oil is prevented from accumulating on the cylinder walls of a reciprocating engine by oil control rings on the piston. If the oil in an oil cooler core and annular jacket becomes clogged, what unit prevents damage to the cooler? Surge protection valve. The purpose of the flow control valve in a reciprocating engine oil system is to direct oil through or around the oil cooler. Upon what quantity or characteristic of a lubricating oil is its velocity index based on? Its rate of change in viscosity with temperature change. What would be probable result if the oil system pressure relief valve should stick in the open position on a turbine engine? Insufficient lubrication. Why is expansion space required in an engine oil supply tank? For oil enlargement and collection of foam. The time in seconds required for exactly 60 cubic centimeters of oil to flow through an accurate calibrated orifice at a specific temperature is recorded as a measure of the oil's viscosity. Lube system last chance filters in turbine engines are usually cleaned during overhaul. As an aid to cold weather, starting the oil dilution system thins the oil with gasoline. What type of oil do most engine manufacturers recommend for new reciprocating engine break-in? Straight mineral oil. Where is the oil temperature bulb located on a dry sump reciprocating engine? Oil inlet line. The oil used in reciprocating engines has a relatively high viscosity due to large clearances and high operating temperatures. Which of the following factors has the least effect on the oil consumption of a specific engine? Mechanical efficiency. The type of oil pumps most commonly used on turbine engines are classified as positive displacement. Which of these characteristics is described? Which of these characteristics is desirable in turbine engine oil? High flash point. Oil tank filters on reciprocating engines are marked with the word oil in accordance with FAR 14 CFR Part 25. As a general rule, a small amount of small fuzzy particles or gray metallic paste on a turbine engine magnetic chip detector is considered to be a result of normal wear. Which of the following lubrication system components is never located between the pressure pump and the engine pressure system? Fuel line for oil dilution system. In order to relieve excessive pump pressure in an engine's internal oil system, most engines are equipped with a relief valve. What advantages do mineral-based lubrications have over vegetable oil-based lubrications when used in aircraft engines? Chemical stability. The vent line connecting the oil supply tank and the engine in some dry sump engines installations permit the oil tank to be vented through the normal engine vent. High tooth pressure and high rubbing velocities such as occur with spur type gears require the use of an EP lubrication or a EP lubricant, extreme pressure lubricant, EP. As a general rule, the mixture setting on a reciprocating engine operating at or near takeoff power that provides the best cooling is full rich. How is the oil collected by the piston oil ring returned to the crankcase? Through holes drilled in the piston oil ring groove. How are the teeth of the gears and an accessory section of an engine normally lubricated? By splash or sprayed oil. Why are fixed orifice nozzles used in the lubrication system of a gas turbine engine? To provide relatively constant oil flow to the main bearings at all engine speeds. Which of the following has the greatest effect on viscosity of lubricating oil? Temperature. Possible failure-related ferrous metals particles in the turbine engine oil cause an electrical indicating type magnetic chip detector to indicate their presence by bridging the gap between the detector center positive electron and the ground electron. In which of the following situations will the oil cooler automatic bypass valve be opened the greatest amount? Engine oil below normal operating temperature. What is the primary purpose of the fuel oil heat exchanger? Cool the oil. An engine lubrication system pressure relief valve is usually located between the pump and internal oil systems. An oil separator is generally associated with which of the following? Engine-driven vacuum pump. What is the primary purpose of the oil breather pressurization system that is used on turbine engines? Provides a proper oil spray pattern for the main bearing oil jets. Which of the following helps determine the proper grade of oil to use in a particular engine? Operating speeds of the bearing. Operating speeds of the bearings. What is the primary purpose of changing aircraft engine lubrication oils at predetermined periods? The oil becomes contaminated with moisture, acids, and finely divided suspended solid particles. Oil accumulation in the cylinders of an inverted inline engine and in the lower cylinders of most radial engines is normally reduced or prevented by extended cylinder skirts. What will happen to the return oil if the oil line between the scavenger pump and the oil cooler separate? The return oil will be pumped overboard. What type of oil system is usually found on turbine engines? Dry sump pressure spray. Which of the following prevents oil from entering the main accessory case when the engine is not running? Check valve. In a jet engine which uses a fuel oil heat exchanger, the oil temperature is controlled by a thermostatic valve that regulates the flow of oil through the heat exchanger. Cylinder walls are usually lubricated by splash or sprayed oil. In a reciprocating engine oil system, the temperature bulb sensing oil temperature at a point after it has passed through the oil cooler. A turbine engine dry sump lubrication system of the self-contained high-pressure design consists of pressure, breather, and scavenge subsystems. What determines the minimum particle size which will be excluded or filtered by a Kono stacked disc edge filtration filter? The spacer thickness. What prevents pressure within the lubricating oil tank from rising above or falling below ambient pressure reciprocating engine? Oil tank vent. In a reciprocating engine, oil is directed from the pressure relief valve to the inlet side of pressure pump. The oil dampened main bearing utilized in some turbine engines is used to provide an oil film between the outer race and the bearing housing in order to reduce vibration tendencies in the rotor system and allow for slight misalignment. The recommended aircraft engine lubrications are mineral or synthetic base. The primary source of oil contamination in a normally operated reciprocating engine is combustion deposits due to combustion chamber blowby and oil migration on cylinder walls. What unit in an aircraft engine lubricating system is adjusted to maintain desired system pressure? Oil pressure relief valve. What is the source of most of the heat that is absorbed by the lubricating oil in a reciprocating engine? Piston and cylinder walls. Then I like to go through and go over the ones I missed.